Good morning, folks. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and I'm waiting for my brother Al to show up to help me with some work, so I thought I'd do a quick little recap on recent work. Absolutely gorgeous day, another beautiful week. So the biggest progress the last couple of days is my son-in-law and I took the time to finish the face of this little dormer, which came out really pretty. We needed staging to do this, so we were up there working on this, and we've sort of adopted a practice of working from the top down. So we do everything at the highest points, working our way down so that by the time we get to the bottom, we're done with the need for the staging and we can move it along. So I had to work alone a lot this week, so we had done the upper windows, little triangle, and the double hung. And then the other day I jerry-rigged the staging so I could get this crank out window, which was going to be a kitchen window, but it cranks all the way out, and it's built in a neat way. It's articulated so that even with that fat trim around the edges, the window won't hit it. It doesn't hinge directly out and against it. It pulls the side of the window in as the other side's going out, so it doesn't hit the trim, I was glad to make that discovery. The only trick about that particular window is that it didn't come with a nailing flange. They didn't make them that way, so it's basically a replacement window, so I had to bring in the trim to act as the stops to put the window up against. So I caulked it securely to make sure water couldn't get in or around it, but it's going to be really handy. And incidentally, that was going to be the kitchen window, and with the reconfiguration of the interior, that is now going to bring light into the dining area, which is pretty neat. So that was an achievement. I was glad to see that done. And then what we then did yesterday morning, when we tied that up, was to jump on this porch. And this is starting to really take shape in terms of framing. Let me zoom that out a little bit. So we had gotten the siding done and the features, fun things like the little eagle up there we did up high so we wouldn't have to try and work around this porch roof that's going to be next. And once that whole main face was done, we took and began framing this porch, and we'd used a lot of lumber up on trim, so I had to order more, but we got that the other day. So yesterday morning, my son-in-law came back up. We finished putting the rafters on, and then we put an outer large rafter, which I haven't cut back yet, which will allow the inner soffit wood to bump into the back of that 2x6. So it'll be very similar to the look we have everywhere else, where you have that nice high peak, and we'll have the soffit wood be on the interior and probably in the interior ceiling of that little porch. It's actually going to be more roomy than I thought. I thought, oh man, maybe this will seem too small and have no space in it, but we're going to center the door out here for looks reasons, and then that will actually be generous enough as a little mud room and some overhead storage possibly. I haven't figured out exactly how we're going to configure that, but it's pretty cute. Probably hang a nice little light of some sort in the middle of it, and then you can see I've got a build out. I don't know if that's, oops, I just realized my finger's in the frame there. So the overhangs, I'm trying to make this beautiful and pragmatic, so as you can see over here, I'll get in a place where you see how the last rafter leans out. What that's doing is actually allowing, we got about a 2-foot overhang on the bottom and about a 4-foot overhang on the top, and the benefit of that is there'll be a nice little roof over that staircase. So eventually there's going to be some finished stairs there, and they'll have a little bit of water and snow and ice protection. So in the winter that'll be very handy. But I've kind of liked that. I took some advice that I'd gotten online about having a long overhang, and on the other end that does a nice job of blocking the summer sun and blocking rain. So that's been very handy, even to work under there. That's my work spot on the other end. Being under an overhang like that is really handy. So making some really good progress. I'm very excited. There's actually hope of getting this thing, the exterior, done before winter, which is kind of the goal. I had to get realistic. All of this takes a lot of time and effort, and you can't rush it. You really got to take the time to do it right. And I've had to hand nail every bit of that siding, and using a pilot bit and a screw gun to drill all those holes out, because that wood's harder than it looks. It's not a soft pine. It's pretty rugged, which I'm glad of. It's log siding. You want it to be rugged enough for the winters. We had some rough weather the other night. It took a couple of branches and trees down around them. Like, well, I'm glad up in the woods here we're going to see some mean weather in the winter, so glad to have built it the way I have so far. So far, so good. It's been a very fun project and very gratifying to see it taking on its final appearance. A lot of work to get to that point, but you have to do all the foundational stuff and framing before you get to the pretty part. My specialty always, I love framing, but I love the finished work because that's where you get to a final point where you walk away from something that's actually done and it will be pretty. So very much looking forward to moving into this next spring. So that's why I'm really trying to hustle now. But anyway, I'll let you go. Have a great day. Enjoy the sun if you're in a place where you're getting some. Right now it's fall weather. Leaves are starting to turn around here. And it will be really pretty really soon. So anyhow, have a good day. We'll see ya.